Namaskaram to all. So we will start our session. Chaturmukha samarambham vakbhadacharya madhyamam asmadacharya paryandam vande guru paramparam ragadirogan satatanushaktan asheshakaya prasrutan asheshan औत्सुक्यमोहारदिदाञ्जखान यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोस्तु तस्मै. We missed one day in between. I hope the continuity is maintained. The other day, while we were discussing about that yadruja shabda vaishamyam kasanam jayade tataha hedu bhedad pradikhat bhedaha vayoho saramhasaha vayoho hedu bhedad pradikhat bhedaha. So according to the Nidana, the pradikhat bhedam of vayu is different. Different hedus of kasam is causing different types of pradikhat, obstruction to the vayu, and accordingly ruja shabda vaishamyam kasanam jayate. Ruk, then shabdam. These things are changing in kasam. So listening to this, one of the participants in our previous session was saying, I was amazed to hear this. Why? Because there are YouTube videos available where different types of kasam, coughs, will be demonstrated, and based on that sound, how to identify the what sort of cough is that particular one. So I never expected that such an explanation will be there in Ayurvedic textbooks. So that reflects or shows the necessity to read the textbooks properly, in depth. Yadruja, what is explained in the classics, sometimes people come up with videos in the YouTube, and people get awestruck. Oh, this is possible, but it is all there in the textbook, but left unattended. Anyway, forget it. I thought of mentioning it in today's session. So we were mentioning about various types of karanas in our previous sessions, like samavayi karanam, asamavayi karanam, and nimitta karanam. And as far as vikaras or roga is concerned, we saw that the samavayi karana of a roga is dosha. So the tridoshas are the samavayi karanas. And asamavayi karanam is dosha vaishamyam. Asamavayi karanam is dosha vaishamyam. And one interesting point we mentioned during one of our previous session is that karya nasham happens when the asamavayi karana nasham happens. Asamavayi karana nashe karya nasha. Karyam. What is the karyam here? It is rogam. Rogam is the karyam. So we need to break the dosha vaishamyam and reinstate the dosha samyam. Then only the karya nasham will happen. I do not know whether I am repeating some points, but it is worth repeating. That is what my understanding is. It is worth repeating because without a proper understanding of these concepts, nobody can become an Ayurveda Vaidya. You can pretend to be a Vaidya, but it is difficult. So bear with me in that exercise. And in this complete program of Samavayi, Asamavayi Karanasham and Karyanasham, which is supposed to be the sole purpose of our intervention, we have to give high priority to Nimitta Karana. Nimitta Karanam is an interesting principle. If you look into the English translations of some textbooks related to the darshanas, we can find Nimitta Karanam explained by different names. Sometimes the word used is instrumental cause. Nimitta Karanam is instrumental cause. Some other times the word used is efficient cause. Nimitta Karanam is efficient cause. So when we use the term, the first one, that is instrumental cause, from the word that usage itself, we get the idea of an instrument which produces the karyam. And we already saw some examples. For the time's sake, a potter's wheel. It is a nimitta karana, an instrumental cause, which facilitates in the manifestation, making of a pot. Wheel is an instrument which acts as a cause. But when we use the term efficient cause, we are directly referring to the potential of a principle. Efficient cause, that is the word used. The potential of a principle to act as a karana in the manifestation of the karya. The word efficient or efficiency, these are very familiar to us in that sense. So, an efficient cause. So, the efficiency of a principle is what we are talking about here. That is what our interest is, the efficiency of a particular principle. In our context of Roga Pariksha, Nimitta Karanas are those factors which are efficient enough to push the doshas into the Vaishamyavastha or Vishamavastha, resulting in the manifestation of Roga. So, that word efficient cause is quite a resonating one in our context. So, the Nimitta Karanam is becoming an important consideration because it is something which is efficient enough to push the doshas further forward to Vishamavastha, so that the karyam is manifested. Karyam is roga. We find certain very interesting statements made by acharyas in this regard. What is that? while considering the Nimitta Karanas. In Charaka Samhita Sutram 11th chapter, Acharya Charaka mentions Trini Ayatanani. Trini Ayatanani Arthanam Karmanaha Kalasya cha Adiyoga Yoga Mithya Yoga. It is not the Artha, Karma or Kala, but there Adiyoga, Ayoga, Mithya Yoga. Trini Ayatanani. In the same chapter, to give some extra emphasis to this idea, something like a concluding statement, Acharya repeats. What is that? Iti asatmendriyartha samyogaha prajnaparathaha parinamaha cha iti trayaha trividha vikalpaha hetavo vikaranam. Vikaranam hetavaha. So here he is mentioning not about the samavayi karanam, not about asamavayi karanam, but about nimitta karanam. It is about nimitta karanam. In Ashtanga Sangraham and Ashtanga Hridayam, this idea is explained in multiple situations. In Charaka Samhita also we will find this idea expressed in multiple situations. In Ashtanga Hridayam and Ashtanga Sangraham, especially in Ashtanga Sangraham, at one point we will find the same thing repeated. What is that? Trividham tu nimittamesham asatmendriyartha samyogaha prajnaparadhaha parinamascha. But I should say that the most beautiful explanation in this regard, the most beautiful explanation in this regard comes in the Sutrasthana first chapter itself, Ayushkamiyam itself. Everybody is familiar with it, but I do not know to what extent or to what depth we have considered it. What is that explanation? Kalartha karmanam yogo hina mithyadi matrakaha samyak yogascha vitneyaha rogarogya eka karanam. Rogarogya eka karanam. Eka karanam here means mukhya karanam. Mukhya karanam. So kalartha karmanam hina mithyadi matrakaha yogaha. So which is the eka karanam or mukhya karanam? Yogaha. Not kala, not artha, not karma, but yogaha. What type of yogaha? Hina mithyadi matrakaha yogaha. Roganam ega karanam. Ega karanam means mukhya karanam. So that mukhya karanam represents that efficiency of the karana. So they are the nimitta karana, the efficient cause, not the instrumental cause. Instrumental cause may be used maybe for the some loose sense, but I think if you require a specific word, I think efficient cause. In any situation, nimitta karana is that principle which makes samavayi karana manifest as karya. The manifestation of the samavayi karana as karya, that is facilitated by nimitta karana. So here, when the hina adi mithya yoga of kala, artha and karma is efficient enough to bring Vaishamya to the dosha, disease manifests. This is very, very important, because this efficiency is becoming a critical factor. It is not just about the presence of that factor, but it is about the efficiency of that factor to push the doshas to Vishamavastha. That is going to be critical. In Dosha Bhediyam of Ashtanga Hridayam, we find Vakbhadacharya making an emphatic statement in this regard. It is not just a passing reference, but it is an emphatic statement. What is that? Tesham kope tu karanam arthair asatmeihi samyogaha kalaha karmacha dushkritam. Tesham kope tu, that tu gives the stress, the emphasis to the statement. Don't look anywhere else seeking the karana. Tu avadharane. It is to be specifically and emphatically understood that it is nothing other than this nimitta karana, the efficient cause, which pushes the dosha to Vishamavastha. Tesham kope tu karanam arthair asatmeihi samyogaha kalaha karmacha dushkritam. So this is why they are repeating this again and again and giving undue, in our understanding, this is an undue importance given to this concept. It is not undue importance. This is clinically very, very significant. Why or how? How is this clinically significant? Because as far as Ayurveda Chikitsa is concerned, if the clinician, the Vaidya, is not focusing on withdrawing the efficient cause from the stage, if the Vaidya or the clinician is not withdrawing the efficient cause from the scene, the Karyanasha will not happen. The Karyanasha will not happen. The Asamavai Karananasha will not happen. As long as Asamavai Karananasha is not happening, there is no question of Karyanasha. So, withdrawing the efficient cause, the cause which is having the efficiency, the Vaidya cannot succeed in treating the Roga successfully, because the dosha Vaishamyam is not getting modified and the dosha Samyam is not reinstated. This is the clinical significance. This is not about storytelling. This is not about storytelling. This is going to be the foundation of Ayurvedic practice. So, I do not remember whether I have mentioned some of these points earlier. As I mentioned, I already told, but doesn't matter. We have to see this again and again. Avartano abhyasaha. Abhyasam is doing it again and again. And I already mentioned that as long as there is no asamavai karananasha, there is no question of karyanasha. And nimitta karana, if you consider it as an instrumental cause, in our context, it may not be very, very significant. Because as far as the karya in our context, that means roga is concerned, if it is just about an instrument, don't bother about it. After the manifestation of the karya, whether the instrument continues to exist or not is not very serious. After the pot is made, whether the potter's wheel is damaged or the potter himself is passing away, that is not going to affect the longevity of the pot anyway. Whether the pot will be perished or not is a different question. It is not a non-existing question. But that is not the case here in our karya, that means roga. The existence of karya, that means roga, is highly dependent on the continuous support that the karya is enjoying from the nimitta karana. I am repeating, the existence of the karya in our context is highly dependent on to what extent the karya is enjoying the continuous support from the nimitta karana, the efficient cause. Once the support from the nimitta karana is withdrawn, I repeat, once the support from the nimitta karana is withdrawn, there is every possibility that the karya ceases to exist thereafter. There is every possibility that just by withdrawing the nimitta karana, the karya ceases to exist. So, asamavayi karananashe karyanashaha is true to 100% in Ayurveda by all means, but for achieving this asamavayi karananasha, nimitta karananasha is essential. So, my Guruji used to mention that one statement. What is that? Yavan nimitta karanasthai karyam rogam. Yavan nimitta karanasthai karyam rogam. So rogam is a peculiar type of karyam which yavan nimitta karanasthai, which has got its existence until and up to the existence of nimitta karana is there. Yavan nimitta karanasthai karyam rogam. This is very, very important in the training period of Ayurveda, Ayurveda clinics. Otherwise, we will be moving this way and that way like a log on the water. We will never get a footing, firm footing in Ayurvedic clinics. So here, the yoga is the nimitta karana. That yoga is hina, mithya, adi of kala, artha and karma. A proper understanding of the nimitta karana in a given case. That is the clinical significance of all these statements. It is essential because our fundamental aim is to modify that yoga. Our fundamental aim is to modify that yoga and make it samyak yoga. That is why hina mithyadi matragaha samyak yogascha vijneyaha roga rogika karanam. So if the mithya yogam, hina yogam, ayogam is the eka karanam for roga, its samyak yoga is the eka karanam for arogya. So if you look into some of the practical aspects of this idea, take the case of the situation where the spontaneous movement of doshas through the Rudu Chakra, Chaya, Prakopa, Prashama. Take that example. We find Chaya, Prakopa, Prashamaha, Vayor, Grishmadishu, Trishu, Varshadishu tu Pittasya, Shleshmanaha, Shishiradishu. Chaya prakopa prashamaha Vayor grishmadishu trishu varishadishu tu pittasya shleshmanaha sisiradishu. So in the Rutu Chakra, the doshas pass through the stages of Chaya, Kopa and Shama or Prashama. For the sake of explanation, take Vayu first. In the case of Vayu, Chaya Prakopa Prashamaha Vayor Grishmadishu Trishu. Vayu is in the Chayavastha in Grishmam, Kopavastha in Varsham, and recedes back to Shamavastha in Sharat. How or why? What is its connection with the Nimitta Karana? See, Chiyate Laghurukshabhihi Oshadhibhihi Samiranaha. Chiyate Laghurukshabhihi Oshadhibhihi Samiranaha Tadvidhaha Tadvidhe Kale Kalasya Ushnyanna Kupyati. What is told? Chiyate Laghurukshabhihi Oshadhibhihi Laghurukshabhihi Oshadhibhihi Samiranaha Chiyate Laghurukshabhihi Oshadhibhihi. In the Grishma Ritu, everything, Oshadhi is one example. It is something like an Upalakshana. What is untold is also understood. Oshadhi represents everything around. So everything is becoming Laghurukshadi. Laghurukshadibhihi Oshadhibhihi Samiranaha Chiyate. Why? Samirana is of a particular type. What is that? Tadvidhaha Samiranaha. Samirana is also Laghuruksha, etc., etc. That is also Laghuruksha, etc. Then Tadvidhe Dehe. Deha is also going through such a condition because everything is in Laghurukshadi. So Sharira is not an exception. So Tadvidhaha Samiranaha Tadvidhe. Deha is also Tadvidha. Deha is also Tadvidha. So what happens? Chiyate Tadvidhe Dehe. Then Kalasya Aushnyad na Kupyati. Kalasya Aushnyad na Kupyati. So there is one Pradibandhaga factor. What is that? Aushnya, Ushnata. So the Ushna Gunam is a Pradibandham here in Grishma. So Vayu fails to progress to the Kopavastha. All other principles are supporting, but Ushna is against all of them. Ushna is against all of them. But in Varsha, that changes. In Varsha, that Pradibandhaga Bhavam is withdrawn. It is becoming Sita. Then everything is supporting. So, Nimitta Karanam is becoming properly efficient to push the dosha to the Kopavastha. And in the Sharat, it is withdrawn. The efficiency of the Nimitta Karanas that comes down and dosha is coming back to Shamavastha. Swasthanastasya Samada Vikara Sambhavaha. We will discuss something about the Arogyam as well. This is not about Rogam alone. This is about Arogyam also. So if Nimitta Karana is needed for Rogam, Nimitta Karana is needed for Arogyam also. If there is no pradibandha for nimitta karanas, definitely doshas will start generating roga. In the same way, if there is no pradibandha for nimitta karanas, dosha can stay back in swasthya, samavastha. So the very core idea of Tridosha Siddhanta and the concept of Arogya and Roga based on Tridosha Siddhanta is spinning around the concept of Nimitta Karana, efficient cause, and their Pradibandhaka bhavas. So that is why these things are discussed again and again. I think we will repeat some of the points again in our next session, and we will see how this is applicable in Arogya and how the entire Shastra is spinning around it. So with that, I think we have to conclude. I may not be going through the next part. There are a couple of chats in the box. Can we name it as inevitable cause? Srivatsan sir has asked. Definitely, we find many translations used in the English works regarding the Samavai Karanam, Asamavai Karanam, and Nimitta Karanam. So I think efficient cause sounds more fitting as far as the Nimitta concept of Nimitta Karana in Ayurveda is concerned. Inevitable cause, maybe I think that is also a possibility. Then can we say apply this concept after the manifestation of Upadrava? After the manifestation of Upadrava, whether the same idea will work or not? Definitely, this will work always. This is universal. That means the karyam is manifested only when there is support from the Nimitta Karana and when that Asamavayi Karana is happening. When the dosha is going to the Vaishamya, then only the Karya Roga will happen. So whether it is in the case of Upadrava, whether it is in the Vyadhi Sangara, whether it is a Swadandra Roga, everywhere, ideally this concept is applicable. One more, it means here, Hina, Mikhya and Adiyoga of all three Kala, Artha and Karma should coexist together to cause Roga or only. That's also an interesting point because there need not be all the causes. So there are n number of possibilities evolving for being sick. So I think being healthy is very tough. Being sick is very easy. Just simply give your body a chance, it will slip into Vyadhi. So all these things need not coexist. Any one of these things can cause it, take it to the Roga Avastha. Can withdrawing the Nimitta Karana act as a Roga, Vikhatana, Bhava, Abhava? Yes, I think that idea is to be clarified a little bit more. In one of our previous sessions, we have explained this, that how the three principles, that is Hedu, Dosha and Dusha, these three things are interacting successfully, partially, or there is absence of interaction, how this Bhava and Abhava of the Vikaras happening, and how there are multiple possibilities of its manifestation. One more question I am asking, I may not be able to answer everything. Nimitta Karana plays vital role. So in all rogas, this identification is important for Chikitsa. Exactly. For first step in Chikitsa. Exactly, 100%. But whether it will be possible in all the cases, that may be a tough question, because many a times it need not be. And that is where we will have to use our Agamatnanam and capacity to make the other sources of generating knowledge. That means Anumanam and Upamanam, especially a merging of all these things, that is Yukti. So sometimes we will have to presume that there should be a Nidana playing behind this to push the doshas into this particular status. That is where and a Vaidya is becoming extraordinary. And Sadharana Vaidya may not be successful in assuming such things, where there is no evident Nimitta Karana or traceable Nimitta Karana. but with practice, with effort, and with Gurur Anugraham, I think Vaidya will be successful in assuming that these things could be the Nimitta Karana behind this. With this point, I am concluding today's session. Definitely, we will come again with the continuation of these aspects in our next session. That means this Saturday. So, thank you all. I am concluding. Bhishajam sadhu vrittanam bhadram agamasharinam abhyasta karmanam bhadram bhadrabhilashinam. Namaste.
Namaste.